What's the deal, family? We're going to go ahead and jump right in because I got something to say. All right, look, today we're going to break down the difference between knowing something versus believing something because they are not the same. To know and to believe are two distinctly different things, but we want to make sure that we begin, if not already doing so, to walk in the knowing. We don't want to walk in believing. That era of believing is finished with. So we want to make sure that we know what we know because knowing is certainty. Now, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so as we get ready to get in, I want to make sure that you understand or understand I do have my notes, and specifically I wanted to jot down the exact Google definitions of believing versus knowing. So that way we can get a more accurate stance on the differences. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Now, from Google's perspective, Google is God, right? So from Google, the definition of belief is to accept something as true. That's what Google said. To accept something, to believe is to accept something as true. Now, it doesn't really take a rocket science to be able to break those words down for what it is, to accept something as true. That's believing, right? Okay, so let me give an example about that, right? That's like you being at the grocery store, right? And you run into somebody that sees you, you see them, they feel as though that you've met before, right? So they approach you and the first thing that person says to you is, "Hey, how you doing?" And they looking at you and you looking at them and then they go, "You know what? Do I know you? I believe we've met before." Do I know you? I believe we've met before. Okay? And then you're looking at that person and you looking at them and you trying to, cause maybe you like, maybe not, but you looking and then you come away with the conclusion that, nah, I don't know you, nah, we've never met. And that person goes, "You sure? Cause I believe I know you." And you're like, "Nah, I would know." I would know if I've seen you or met you before, if we knew each other. That's the difference. That's believing. So that in that person's eyes, they believe that you guys have met before. You've come away with the conclusion that you know for a fact, if we've met, I would have known, I would have remembered, but we haven't. So that's the difference within, that's the actual stance with believing something. You can believe something all you want. Doesn't make it a fact and it does not make it true. All right. So let's break down the definition to knowing something from Google. from Google. Google is God, right? All right. So let's see. To know is to perceive or understand as facts or truth, certainty. Okay, so that's knowing. To know something is basically, it's facts. If you know something, you know it. It's like, I don't know, it's like being out and you see somebody at the store and that person grabs uh, a candy bar off the shelf and throws it into his pocket. Well, you just seen him steal something. That's a fact. He didn't pay for it. He didn't he didn't go up to the counter and talk to the cashier and exchange currency for that product. You watched him with your two very eyes grab that candy bar off the shelf and just throw it into his pocket. Like it was like wait a minute. You might have thought you didn't see what you just seen, but you seen what you, because it just threw you back a little bit like, what the fuck? This nigga just put the candy bar. He's a thief. He or she is a thief. You seen what you seen. You can't unsee it. You know what you seen. That is a fact. that that person took that candy bar off that shelf and just lolly-dod that motherfucker into his or her pocket, just like nothing. However, that is a fact. It is certainty. There is a guarantee in what you just seen. So that's knowing, right? Okay, so now that we've broke down the difference, or the differences between believing and knowing something, what you must understand is that you must walk in knowing. Don't walk in belief. That belief stuff, that's done with. There's no mas to that. No mas, no more. That's done. All that believing and just hoping and all that stuff is done and over with. What you must do is begin to walk in the knowing. It's vital. All right? Okay, so no matter what, just walk in your knowing. Now, another thing to that is, to add to that, just walking in it, you may be going throughout your day, and certain things may take place that may not look like it's favorable to you, right? It may look like things aren't working out, but you must still hold that knowing. Don't hold the belief, hold the knowing that everything is working out exactly the way it is supposed to. Regardless of what you see, you must know it is always and will always work out for you. Because the things that are happening that may not look like it's in your favor, we're going to call those illusions, because that's exactly what they are. They're only illusions. They're only to make it look like something isn't what it really is. So, in other words, if you know that there's power in a thought, right? So if you know that 90% of the time, 85% of the time, anything within those high ranges of percentages between 80, 85, 90, so forth, so on, that you're normally thinking positive thoughts. You're doing, which means you're doing your part, but yet you seem to be going throughout your day and it appears, keyword, it appears that things are not working out in your favor. You must still stay true and stay 10 toes down to your knowing that everything is working out. Those are just illusions. You know that you're doing your part. You know that you're holding fast to knowing, to positivity. So understand that when things appear to not be working out, it's only illusions. Stay true to what you know. Also want to add to that, that you need to understand that thoughts are powerful. They're vibrations. Now, here's the great thing. Here's the great thing about thinking positive versus thinking negative in regards to holding true to your knowing, and that power in itself. Knowing something and keeping that high positive vibration it has more weight to it than a lower vibration of negativity. So simply said, a positive thought outweighs a negative thought any day, all day. That's just how it works, because it's the frequency of it, the vibration of it. So anytime that you are thinking positive, it's going to always outweigh the negative. So I say that to say this. You're going to the universe, divine, the Most High knows that we are flawed as we come into this human experience. So it doesn't expect perfection. But as you go along your goings and your journeys, and you begin to start to build up your knowing, the universe will expect you to take accountability for what you know. So you now knowing that a positive thought outweighs a negative thought, you must begin to think and understand that it's more vital to think more positive than it is to think negative. And you must understand that you will think negative just due to the fact that everything is connected. So some thoughts aren't even yours and some are. And that's fine. Even the ones that may be negative that are yours, just make sure you come and over triumph that negative thought each time with a positive. It's all about, what's the word I'm looking for? It's all about making sure that you do it with conviction. Your positive thoughts must have more conviction on it than a negative thought, because that'll give more actual power to it as well. On top of it, again, on top of the fact that a positive is going to outweigh the negative every single time. So don't trip. In other words, don't trip over having negative thoughts. That's going to happen from time to time. Just again, be sure that you come in and clean it up with something positive with conviction on it. So don't get stuck. The whole thing is not to get stuck in the negative realm of it. As long as you understand, hold more positive than you hold negative, and understand that a positive is going to always outweigh, it's just stronger. It's a higher vibration. Anything of higher vibration will always outweigh negative vibration. You got to really be in a negative state to pull yourself down. You have to really just stay there. You have to dwell in that space for you to really just operate and vibrate within that space. Otherwise, it ain't gonna hold. It's too weak compared to a positive. All right. So, just stay true. Stay true. That's pretty much that. You know, that's pretty much that, family. Just stay true to making sure that you walk in a knowing. Your knowing is everything. Stop believing. Believing ain't, it's, how should I say, it's just not where it's at. You know what I mean? Always know something. So just keep that in mind, hold it down, and until next time, let's elevate. Peace.